a continuing issue that we have as far as how we define ourselves in relationship with other people. And often it comes down to whether you're in or whether you're out. There's something called set theory that has to do actually with mathematics, but it's really about ultimately social relationships and how we connect. First of all, a lot of the ways that we define things are by closed set. That means that you've got a boundary here that is set and clear. And then we're often defined by whether we're inside that particular box or whether we're outside. And there's very clear definitions as to whether you're in or you're out. Think of membership and connection in that way. And your identity is very, very linked to that. It's often static. It's very homogeneous. In other words, they're all kind of the same type. Now let's take that away and instead look at something that's called a centered set, where you have a center here that can be a person, it can be a belief structure, but then your connection with that is whether you're moving in towards that or whether you're moving out away from it. And whether or not you're in the center but out there, or whether you're farther away but looping back in again to connect. And so there is sort of a soft boundary that goes around here, but it's not a hard one that's set, because everyone is in some process of being connected to or disconnected to that center again. Think of that in terms of Jesus, thinking that in terms of community, think of that in terms of how you are related. The disciples were constantly trying to set boundaries, again, going back to that square box again, whether they were in or out. And Jesus kept rebuking that. They were all in some level of process towards the center, and they defined themselves as far as how they were in relationship to that. The great analogy that Alan Hirsch uses this is from Australia, from the outback, where they have tens of thousands of sheep and they never worry about a fence. And people go, how do you do that? How do you keep them contained? And he says, we just have well-positioned wells. So the question is, what is the well, and are people being drawn into that? The more that they're drawn into that in a dry and arid area, the less you got to worry about containment fences. This is part of the new model that we're moving in and moving towards. I want you to think about that in your relationship, specifically in this month when we're dealing with disappointment issues, making sure those are broken off so we can move forward into the new beginning. There's got to be an ending in order to move forward. Watch the full teaching. It's a diverse thing this week because we've got a number of people getting up to share about what the Spirit is saying to them.
Most of the trauma that I've gone through has been in that bordered set mentality, because I have defined myself in that bordered set.